Okay, there you go. So today we are going to be discussing online judges, and last time we discussed a bit of C++, and this time we are going to be discussing where we can actually find problems and where we can actually submit solutions in order to learn. So right. So we are going to be discussing online judges and where to find them. Okay. So before we get to online judges, though, I had a lot of people asking, where I should actually code, right? So the first place where you should code, like if you feel like you want to, you don't want to install anything, you don't want to do anything special, you just want to use something online, then there are something called online IDs. First of all, an ID is an integrated development environment. This is the full form of it. And basically, this is where you code, right? This is where you get code and where you get autocomplete, all of that. Okay. So first of all, there is something called id.usaco.guide. I'll show you the thing here. Okay. So here you can see that I have something like this, right? I have something like this. I can code over here. I can do whatever I want. And then I'll give the input over here. And if I just click run code, then you can see that the output comes, right? I'm just taking ABC. I'm outputting A plus B plus C. And the output comes out as 6. So basically, this is how it works. You just write down the code, just give it the input, and then run. And it gives you the output. Okay, so this is a pretty nice website, but it's very basic. Like, a lot of things are, if it's online, then it's generally basic. But you can still see that it has autocomplete, all of that. Okay, I guess it's probably a bit small. Let me, once again. Okay. Oh, wait, okay, that's, okay. Okay, there you go. Like, this is basically the code. The code is like this. So, yeah. And you just, after taking the sum of 3 numbers, I just give it the input and then it gives me the output, right? So, yeah. It also has autocomplete again. I can type like INT and it autocompletes. So, okay, our sort doesn't come up, but basically all the inbuilt types are there already. Okay, fine. So yeah, this is basically a control plus. That actually didn't work. I don't know why. Oh, wait, now it's working. Oh. Okay, yes. Well, thank you. But yeah, there you go. So yeah, this is a basic ID, right? There are also other IDs like some like one is Repellit.com. This is a very nice website. Like I'll just show you quickly. Yeah, there you go. So this is the website. I'll just log in. And there you go. You can see that I can just click create REPL. I can, select the thing as well, like which language it is. Like, for example, if I want C++, I'll select that. I'll name my thing whatever I want and create it. Okay. But one thing, though, that I want to emphasize is that please make sure that your code is private, right? Because sometimes, like, actually, this thing that I have, let me just open incognito. I'm not logged in, right? And if I go over here, you can still see that I can open this. I can still open this code, right? I can show code, like I can show this. And well, this is pretty bad, right? You can see that, well, it's public. Everything is public. Now, for this reason, just make sure that your code is private, because during a contest, if your code is copied, you will be penalized. You will also be penalized. If someone else somehow copies your code and they submit, and the website detects that, they will see that, okay, this is bad, right? These people are cheating. So they should both be penalized. So it doesn't matter if you are the one who submitted it first, those all don't count. If you have the same code as someone else, basically if someone else copied from you, you are also going to get penalized. So just make sure that you don't accidentally make it private. Accidentally make it public, right? So, for example, this website, you cannot make it private unless you pay them, basically. So, Repellit is a very nice website. Like, it's very, very nice. Like, the website is very cool. But the issue is that you can't make it private. But USACO, id.usaco.guide, it's very good, right? So, you can take a look at that. And if you want to see more, like, you can just go here. You can see that there are multiple websites given. So yeah, you can see that they are giving you multiple websites here, and they're just making sure that, like, they also give you this. Your code should not be publicly viewable during a contest. So just make sure that your code is secret or private, right? Okay, fine. Now, there are also IDs that you can download. So some IDs you have to use online, like these are online IDs. And this, for example, if you take Sublime Text or VS Code, you can install them, right? So personally, I use CLion. So this is the website here. Let me show you. Sorry, it's not the website. I mean, it's the ID here. Now, don't ignore, just don't look at them. These are all my template. Like, it can be anything. The template will be discussed in the next classes, by the way. Don't worry. Okay. Now, if I have something like this, you can see that again, this is a very nice thing. Like I can run this over here. I also have autocomplete again. I have int x equal to 1 to 3, let's say. And if I want to create a vector, I just type vector. Oh, okay, I have to hash include vector. So if I type vector int and v, well, this all works fine, right? I can do v dot assign, v dot stuff, a lot of different things. So this is what basically a good ID does, right? A good ID can autocomplete. It can also, again, it should also be able to run your code, all of that stuff. Okay. Now, the pros and cons are pretty simple. For Sublime Text is extremely lightweight, but it does not have any features at all. Like it has basically no features. Like it's just text editor. It's basically like Notepad. Now, VS Code has many features and it also has many plugins. You can also install any plugin that you want so that it will help you out, right? So for example, there's a plugin called Competitive Programming Helper, in fact, which lets you test multiple test cases immediately. So that's very nice as well. And CLion is pretty heavy, like VS Code is medium and CLion is very, very heavy. Like it uses a lot of RAM as well. And it's not for people who don't have a really good PC, right? I have a pretty good PC, so I'm able to use CLion pretty nicely. But yeah, but it is suited more for development. Basically, it is suited for development. It's not for just it's not for just CP. Like if you're doing just CP, then it's pretty useless. If you're going to develop stuff with it though, then it's pretty useful, right? So yeah. So this is basically all there is to an ID. Okay. Does anyone have any doubts? Like anything at all? Any general questions are also fine. Yeah, Arun Kumar. Yes, you're right. It just copies test cases directly from CF as well. But you can also manually customize it. Like, I mean, when you can copy it from CF, there's no point in customizing, but still. Okay, can someone okay, not someone, can everyone let me know it like a +1 or -1 in the chat, like whether you have understood or not? If you have any doubts, you should go ahead and let me know. Please don't hesitate to ask any doubts. Okay, fine. I guess we can move on then. So the next thing we are going to be discussing is online judges. Okay. Let me start with Codeforces. Hopefully the contest has ended, right? I hope. Okay, like in 1.1, there was an issue where we couldn't open many things because the contest was going on. Okay, yeah. So this is basically Codeforces, and this is the homepage. In the homepage, you'll see many things, many different things. For example, you'll see contest announcements, website development stuff, all of that, right? So contest announcements, etc. So yeah, you can see all the contest announcements and stuff here. Then in the top section, at the top, you can see this. In the top section, you can see, well, basically any blog written by anyone, right? This is basically like a social media. So you can see all of the things here. So this, etc. Right? So there we go. This is the top section. And after that, we have a catalog. Oh, okay. This is exactly what I was hoping would not happen. Okay. Okay, bear with me for a minute. I'm very sorry. Well, great. Okay. I guess we'll be discussing CodeChef first then. Codeforces can wait. Okay, so we are going to be discussing CodeChef. We'll come back to Codeforces later, don't worry. But yeah. Okay, so in CodeChef, we have the main page here. This is the main page. You can see some stuff here. Like if yeah, this is not working properly again. I don't know why. But there are many courses in CodeChef, like for example, level 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4, stuff like that, like for which, depending on which level you are in. So yeah, okay. Then we have, like, this is the home page, this is basically the home page. Then you have the learn section. So if you go to the learn section at the top, you can become a 1-star, level up from 1-star, 2-star, 3-star, etc. Then you also have many free courses like this, so for C++ and Java, Python, etc. And if you want to learn, like if you want to learn DSA and stuff for companies, like interviews, stuff like that, you can look at these two things, right? These are pretty nice. Like you can take a look at these. And well, I would like to mention though that you might find that some of the things are only when you are pro. So if you are CodeChef Pro, which means that you need to pay them, obviously, you will get many like many other things. Like for example, again, you have editorials, video editorials for all the problems, stuff like that. So it's up to you. It's up to you to decide. You know, generally, you don't need it, but yeah, test cases too. Oh yeah. So when you're submitting something, not during a contest, it's not during a contest, but when you're submitting something after a like contest on a practice problem, it can help you debug your code as well. So it's pretty nice. But again, you have to. It's up to you to you know, measure the pros versus cons. Okay, fine. Now, after the learn section, we have the practice section. So in the practice section, we have like, first of all, you can select which problem difficulty rating that you want. So 0 to 1000, 1700 to 1800, etc. So stuff like this. Then you also have popular topics. Like you can select if you want binary search, right? It will give you problems based on binary search. Then you can go to tags as well and select particular tags. So I can select this tag, etc. Right? So these are all like things that you can do here. It's pretty nice. Now, let us see how a problem is, right? Let me see how a problem is. Let me open a thing over here. Now, in a problem, first of all, we have this problem over here. And basically this side, this is the problem. So they are giving you the problem here. And then they are also giving you the input format. So the input format is saying that there is this thing like integer t, number of test cases. Then it also has two separated integers x and y. And they also need to output it in a particular format, right? Like you need to output yes or no. So this is the input, this is the output. So whenever you are done with a code, when you are done with the code for a solution, then you just copy this, right? Don't submit it directly. Don't submit your code directly. Always copy it and run your code and then try pasting it, right? Try pasting it, make sure it works. Make sure your code works for the sample test case at least, right? Now, after the sample, they also have explanation. So if you don't understand something, you can look at the explanation, but it's not guaranteed. They don't always have the explanation, but you know, they might or might not have it. Similar to LeetCode Premium. Yes, Surender. This is pretty similar to LeetCode Premium. Yeah. Okay. Now, if you can't do this problem, if you are not able to do a problem, then you also have the hints section. This is only for when, like, only for after the contest, by the way. This will not be given during the contest. So if you go to the hints section, you can see that according to the statement, you have some stuff and that's it, right? There are all these things. Now, these hints are for pro people, like people who are pro. And it's free for 1 day or 2 days, I think, something like that. But after that, they don't give you the hints. So you need to make sure that you look at it pretty soon, right? So yeah, these are all given. And after that, you also have the submissions. So you have submissions, explain codes by other people, where if you go there, like people will explain their solution here. Look at this guy's explaining its solution. So yeah. And you can also view all other people's submissions, view all submissions here. Like this. And honestly, that's basically it. You can also see your submissions. Okay. But again, if you are looking at this in like 1 or 2 days, you can view the free solution as well. Like video solution is given for free. So you can view the solution here. And then, well, they also have the text editorial. Like this is video editorial. There's also text editorial, right? Okay, fine. Okay. That's basically a problem. And over here, back here again, you can see unattempted problems, which means problems you have not solved, attempted problems, which you have already tried, and all problems, like any problem at all. Okay, so after the practice section, we have the compete section. Okay, so in the compete section, we can see that we have upcoming contests, ongoing contests. So ongoing contests are just their games or something like that. I don't know. We also have upcoming contests, which are in fact in 4 days. So if I open these, you can go here. Okay, now you might see something called a division, right? You see something called a division over here. And what this division means is that if your rating is X, then you can only participate in one particular division, right? Basically, what it means is if you are in division 4, then your rating must be less than or equal to 1399. So rating is less than or equal to 1399, right? Now, this is for div 4. Then you also have div 3, in which case the rating must be greater than or equal to 1400. And it must be less than or equal to 1599, right? This is 1599. And after that, similarly, we have for division 2, we have greater than or equal to 1600 and less than or equal to 1999. And finally, we have division 1, which is for people who are rated, above 2000. So depending on the rating, you will only be able to participate in one division. And as you can probably guess, the problems get easier. So for the 4th division, the problems are extremely simple. Even the first problem is very simple. But for the last one, well, for division 1, it's going to be extremely hard. Even the first one will be very hard. Okay, Arun says, do TLE provide video solutions of starters to div 4 CodeChef? I think it is in the plan, yes. I think Priyansh was making some videos, right? I'm not very sure actually. Okay, like you can ask this in the server. I'm sorry, I'm not very sure about that, unfortunately. Okay, fine. Okay, let's go back here. Now, let me open a previous contest to show how the page looks like. Okay, let me just open this last contest. Again, here we have 4 divisions. Let me just open division 4. Then we have this first problem here. So first of all, it's sorted by the number of successful submissions. So the most solved problem is at the top, so that you can easily see which one is the easiest, right? So the one that's solved more is generally the easiest, but it is recommended that you read a first few problems, right? Always read the first few problems, because even if you can't solve one problem, you might be able to solve the next one. Okay. Now, after I open this problem, you can again see that it's something similar to what we saw before. Like it's basically the same format, right? So I can run my code here as well, and I can submit here. Okay. And yeah, if you have any if there are any announcements, you will also be able to see it over here. Okay, cool. Now, you also have rating in CodeChef. If I go to this page over here, we have some ratings, right? So this is 5 star. So 2000 plus is 5 star. Then you also have the heat map, which means that, it depends on how much you have solved in the past. Okay, you can see that I'm pretty inactive here, but yeah. And you can also see the graph here. So you can see how the graph works, like how it looks. There's also old rating graph and current rating graph. This is the current rating graph. They changed some stuff. This is the old rating graph. Then you also have submissions and the solved problems. So if you scroll here, you can see all the solved problems, right? Okay, fine. Any doubts here? Anything at all? Okay, cool. Let's see if Codeforces is back. Yes, it is back. Okay. So yeah, where were we in Codeforces? We had opened the catalog. Okay. Anurag, the stars are not based on contests, but rather your rating. Like if you participate in contests, your rating will change. If you perform very good, your rating will increase. And if your rating increases, the star might change, right? Okay. So in this catalog, you can see that, first of all, in Codeforces catalog, you can see that there are a lot of different things for a lot of different resources. So we have general advice. So for example, how to come up with solutions, how to read problem statements, how to come up with the solutions techniques and stuff like that, right? So there are a lot of different posts here, and how to practice is here, how to ask for help, etc. Now in algorithms, you have general algorithms like the topic list, general ideas, etc. And you also have like specific topics like binary search, ternary search, constructive algorithm, data structures, etc. So I can scroll down and you can see that there are a lot of different things. And for problem setting and stuff, there's also some things, but you probably won't be looking at that. But yeah. Okay. Oh, okay. To improve stars. Okay. To improve stars, Anurag, basically, in the CodeChef one, I'll show you. Basically, in the learn section, they are going to teach you the topics. They are going to teach you the topics. Okay, this is not opening for some reason, but you can learn these topics and then it is to improve. It's not to, it won't increase your star, but you will learn things needed to get to the next star, right? Like, for example, if you participate in, like, if since you have taken this course, you'll probably be a 2-star by the end, but of TLE, right? By the end of TLE. But, well, it's just, we are not increasing your rating, right? That you are going to do by yourself. Okay, fine. Yeah, so that is basically the catalog. The catalog is very, very useful, by the way. Like, if you have any doubts at some point, you can go here. Like, some people ask how to come up with the solution, right? So you can open this topic over here and you can look at these things, right? You can look at the entire blog post here and stuff like that. Okay, now, after catalog, we have contests. So in the contest section, well, you can see that there are current or upcoming contests. So upcoming contest is in 5 days. Then you have Codeforces rounds, stuff like that. And you also have past contests. Okay, so in the contest history, let's just open the recent contest like that happened today. Okay, so you can see that I have some problems here. I'll open the first problem. Let me just open the first problem. You can see that there is this problem statement. And above this problem statement, there's the problem name. And if the statement has been changed, you'll also be able to view the changes. Like sometimes they change some things. For example, they are saying accidentally put 6 characters or something at the bottom. So they have changed it to 5, right? In this case, they'll notify you at the top. Okay. Now, like this is the problem statement. Basically, there are some things. I'm not going to go through the problems themselves. But yeah. After that, we have the input section. And in the input section, they describe what the input is, what the input format is. So the first line contains a single integer t. Then the first and only line of each test case, which is for each thing, we have a single string s. So, and they're saying that t is less than or equal to 100 and greater than or equal to 1. And s is greater than or equal to 1 and less than or equal to 100. Okay. And they also provide some specific constraints as well. Like, for example, it only has the characters underscore and the power operator, basically. Okay, fine. So this is basically how a problem is. And at the side, you can choose a file and you can submit if you want. So you can choose a file from the side and submit if you want. You can also choose the language. But if you want to submit the code directly, you can go to the submit code section at the top. So in the submit code section at the top, you can go here, choose the problem. So out of the F problems, you can, from F, you can choose this, let's say A. And you can also select the language. So generally you'd be using C++, but you can also, if you're wanting to use Python, you can use that instead. Like you can select PyPy or Python 3.8, etc. Then you can also view your solutions. You can view my submissions. You can view the status, which is for everyone's solution. Then hacks, rooms, and standings, I will not go through them. But after that, we have standings. So, standings I'll go through, but hacks and rooms I won't. So in the standings, you can see some stuff here, like the participated people, like here. Then you also have friend standings, right? So friends are people who you have selected, like, if you open a profile, you'll be able to star someone. So if you want to see someone's like performance, you can click this star over here. And if I go to contest here, you can see that this person appears in my friend list, right? So that's basically how friends work. You can see whoever is your friend and their performance is in the contest. Okay, cool. So yeah, that's that. And after that, we also have something called a virtual contest. Like Kunal is asking, I'll go through a virtual contest. So basically in a virtual contest, well, you can read the description here, full description here. But basically what they're saying is that you will be able to participate in a contest after it has been done, right? After it has been done, we can participate in a contest. So it won't be rated. You can participate with time and stuff, but it won't be rated. But if you still want to improve and if you just want to try your hand at like some contests without losing rating even, you will be able to do it. So for example, I can just click start virtual contest for this. And I can say, well, I want to start in like 3 minutes, right? Let's say I want to start in 3 minutes. And I can just click register for virtual participation. And it will start in 3 minutes and you will have some amount of time. And you need to practice as much as you can. Okay, you can see my CF rating here, Arun. Okay, Tushar says, can you please show how hacking works? You know what? Okay, fine. I will show how hacking works. But if you don't grasp it, don't worry. It's pretty useless. But okay. So after something is done, okay, let me open a Div 3 contest once again. Okay, Div 4 is also fine. So you can see that actually how hacks work are basically like this. After something is done, after the contest is over, so there are actually two types. So there are either Div 1 or Div 2. It's pretty complicated. Again, there are two types of hacking. The first type is hacking during the contest. Hacking during the contest and hacking after the contest. Currently, I'm discussing hacking after the contest. So after the contest is over, you will have like a 12-hour period where you can hack other people's solution. Now, what I can do is like say, okay, I'll go to this solution. 1 second. I'll just go to this solution over here. And here there will be since the 24-hour period is 12-hour period is done, I can't hack anymore. But I can click a hack button over here. There will be a button over here where you will be able to give it a test case, right? And hacking basically means that you are proving this person's solution wrong. So if a person submitted a wrong solution, you will be able to hack them, which would mean that they will not get AC, right? So if they had gotten AC and let's say they are ignoring one particular case, then you can give it that case and you can say that, okay, it's failing for this case, right? And the person will be like, the person's code will be wrong answer. Or maybe if you want to make it TLE, it will be TLE, something like that, right? You might also fail in your hack, which should, for after contest things. So for after contest, there is no benefit to hacking. So for any after contest hacking, there is no benefit. There is absolutely no benefit to actually hacking, right? So it's pretty useless. But what it does do is actually in their final test, they will add the test case. So if someone's code fails on some particular test case, they'll add it at the very end. So you will just be helping other people get WA. It won't actually directly affect you much, but yeah, you can still do it, right? But if you're hacking during a contest, then if for every successful hack that you get plus 50. You get plus 50. This is during the contest, by the way. You have to hack during the contest. You get like plus 50, okay, plus 100, I think actually, plus 100 points. So if the points, there are points in Codeforces. Let me just open a problem. How to submit the test case for hacking? I can't show you now because all the hacking things are closed. But basically, you will again click a hack button. It will show you enter your test case here, and you will enter that, and that's it. Okay. So basically, for during contest things, something called a room. You can only hack within this room. And what I can do is open this guy's solution or anyone's solution, and again, I'll be able to see a hack button. So I'll click that hack button. For today's contest, the hacking is open. No, it's not open. It's closed, actually. After the contest, it is closed, Tushar. During the contest, you might have seen it, but after the contest, it is closed. But yeah, okay. So you'll see that I will be able to see other people's room stuff in the room. You can see that actually, okay, this guy didn't get hacked. Okay, never mind. Okay, no one in this room got hacked, which is pretty sad. Okay. But basically, you just take a test case. And again, you go to the solution, you'll see a hack button. You click the hack button and you paste your test case and run this, right? And if I go to the problem section, somewhere there should be something. Okay. Not sure where it is, but okay. Basically, you have like plus 50 for plus 100 for getting a successful hack. So every problem has a point associated with it, like 726 points for A, in some cases, stuff like that. So you'll get plus 100 if you hack successfully and minus 50 if you don't hack successfully. Okay, Tusha says, just now you mentioned we get 12 hours. Okay, that's for after contest hacking. There are two types of hacking. Like it depends on the contest. Like you'll be able to see that during the contest. But after contest hacking, well, it has 12 hours. But during contest hacking, you can only hack during the contest. Arun Kumar, I'll come to that. Wait. But yeah, so this is basically how it works. You just open someone's code, you say, well, this solution is strong, give it the particular test case, and you might lose points as well, by the way. Just make sure that if you are sure that it's strong, then you can hack that, but don't try that unless you are not sure, right? Because you do lose points if you don't hack properly. Okay, fine. Yeah, so that is basically the contest. And as Arun Kumar asked, I'll show some practice question for beginners. So basically you have the problem set here. So you go to the problem set, right? And you can sort it by the most solved. Like here you can see that you can sort it by the most solved, and then you just solve it in this order. That's it. So I'll send the link in chat. But just sort it in descending order, and then you can start solving problems. So these will be the easiest to hardest problems, right? If you want, you can also filter by difficulty. If you want 1000 rating to 1200 rating, for example, you can enter that, for example. So I can enter this. And yeah, there are also other things like, you can also sort it by the rating here. You can sort it by the tag. For example, I can add tag and say, well, I want this to be, a binary search problem. I want binary search. So I can search that and it will come up here, right? So basically this is how it works. Okay, so is this clear to everyone? Any doubts here? Anything at all? Please let me know like a +1 or -1 in the chat. How many pages you have to solve? 86 pages in 100. You don't have to solve, like just solve it until you think that, it's very easy, right? Like, see, I haven't solved everything, for example. I have only solved very few, right? So like, you shouldn't solve everything. Don't aim to solve everything. Just solve it until you're comfortable with those kinds of problems. Like there are many, right? There are clearly many here. And you can see that I have not solved many at all. Like I have only solved a very few number of problems. Okay, now you can also go to your profile here. You'll be able to see your contest rating, and contribution is not very important. And yeah, you'll be able to see other stuff. You'll be able to see the graph, and you'll also be able to see the heat map again. So if it's light green, that means that you haven't attempted many problems that day. If it's dark green, it means that you have attempted a lot of problems that day. Okay, fine. Okay. Okay, yeah. What are other things like groups and all? They are not very important, but basically a group is something like, if this is dependent on, this is very dependent on the person. Like someone can invite you to a group. So like it is a private thing, right? For example, if I open some IOI archive, let's say, this contest thing. So you can see that in this group, you'll be able to see previous year things, previous year contests here. Like this is a previous year contest day 1, stuff like that, right? It's just a lot of random things. So you'll be able to see the problems. Like this is private, right? You need to, like, it's not private technically, like you can apply and get in, but well, yeah, it's dependent on the group. Like depending on the group, you'll be able to, like, just do some things that are not there in actual Codeforces. Other people can also host their contests, host some other stuff like that. Okay, fine. Yeah. Okay. And EDU is basically like for like if you want a course or something like that, like there's a community course you can see here. So you can enroll in that and you'll be able to, like, one second. Okay. Oh, wait, what? Okay, apparently I need to change the language. Okay. Okay, there you do need to change the language here, but you can also use Google Translate, like you can just translate to English and then you can, like you can practice from here, right? Then there's also something like, 1 second, I'll go back and show you. So in the EDU, there's also a pilot course. In this course as well, there are a lot of different things like topics, for example, suffix array, segment tree, random things, right? Binary search, etc. So yeah, this is the education part. And API is for developers. You don't have to worry about that. Calendar, I don't know what this is, honestly. And help as well, like, there's just frequently asked questions. That's it. Okay, now one more thing. During a contest, let's say a thing is not loading, right? Let's say the website is not loading. In that case, you can use these 3 websites like m1.codeforces, m2.codeforces, and m3.codeforces. And in these, it will be extremely lightweight. You won't be able to see like anything like, you won't be able to see unnecessary stuff, right? So in this case, if I just enter, you can see that this website is extremely simple and it only works for an ongoing contest, latest or ongoing contest, right? So since there are no ongoing contests or like contests where very soon now, you can't see anything here. But this website is extremely fast. So if the actual website is pretty slow, you can use this website instead. Okay, Ratan says for practicing, we have to solve CF plus CC or just CF is enough. Well, if you're a beginner, CF is not very recommended, like because it's not very beginner friendly. I'd honestly suggest doing like if you want, you can use Codeforces, of course, but I'd honestly suggest doing AtCoder over CodeChef. How to open light version? Just type m1.codeforces.com or m2.codeforces.com or m3.codeforces.com. So at the top, just change it to 2 or 3, something like that. Like all 3 are identical. M1, M2, and M3 are all identical. Okay, fine. Okay. Yeah, okay, fine. So that's basically all there is for online judges. Codeforces, that is. And yeah, now for AtCoder, let's get to AtCoder. Okay, so this is AtCoder. So in AtCoder here, this is a very nice website and the problems are all very nice. So you should consider, participating regularly in AtCoder because again, the prompts are very, very nice, right? Okay, so in the left side, you can see upcoming contests and permanent contests, practice contests, stuff like that. We also have recent contests. So let me just open the most recent contest. This happens every week, by the way. Every Saturday or Sunday, they have a contest. So yeah, so okay. So you can see that I have this initial page over here in a contest. Then I have the tasks. So in the tasks, I can open these tasks over here and then I can see the tasks here. Now, they also give you the constraints in the statement itself. They give you constraints in the statement, and then they also give you the constraints over here separately. Then you also have the input format, and again, you have the output format, right? So given some input, you need to output something. Now, at the very end, you'll be able to submit. If you want, you can also submit a file like this. You can click open file, stuff like that. And yeah, that's it. So this is like the AtCoder contest. If you have any clarifications, you can ask over here, or you can also see other people's clarifications over here. Then you can submit separately where you would have to select the task. Then you can see the results, all submissions or my submissions. So all submissions is over here. My submissions, I don't have anything. So yeah. So all submissions, you can also sort by the task, the language that they use, status like AC or whatever, whichever person that you want specially, something like that, right? Okay, now in my submissions, again, those are only my submissions. My score, again, it depends, like I haven't submitted anything, so there's nothing. So yeah, status RE means, it means a runtime error, Tushar. So RE means runtime error, which basically means that your code ran and it what happened was that during the input, or during the code was when the code was working, when the code was running, you actually did something illegal, right? For example, let's say you have an array. I know we haven't discussed arrays yet, but basically you have an array, let's say, and we have 0, 1, 2, 3. The indices are like this, right? If I tried, for example, accessing a negative index, then it will give me runtime error, for example. Or let's say I did division by 0, then it will give me a runtime error. So runtime error basically means that during the code, your code, did something wrong. It should did access something that it should not have. So it's a runtime error. WA means wrong answer, which means that your code ran fine, but the issue was that your code ran fine, but you didn't actually output the correct answer. And we also have like compile error. This is not very important, but yeah. Okay, so that's basically how it works. And after that, we have standings. So we have standings over here. So in standings, you can see like your friend's standings, or if you want, you can also see like everyone's standings. So you can see that you can see everyone's standings here. What's time limit? Oh, okay. 2 M per S. Okay, I don't know. Sorry. 2 M by S. 2 seconds, you mean? Where is it? Can you show me where it is? Oh, okay. You mean this? Which part? Okay. Yeah, this basically means that your code has 2 seconds to run. It means that your code has 2 seconds to run. And the memory limit means that you can't use too much space, right? For example, let's say I am creating like 10 to the power of 10 variables. This will be way too many variables, right? So this will take way too much memory. So they also have a memory limit here. This is 1 GB. And they also have a time limit. So they are saying that your code should run within 2 seconds. And if I go back to standings again, these are like, also there's something called a penalty. You can see that this code was submitted in 1 minute, right? This was submitted in 2 minutes, etc. And in Atcoder, the last submission is the score, like score after the penalty. Like, see, this person got solved everything in 25 minutes and 46 seconds. And this person got 1 wrong answer. So you can see that if you have something in red, that's 1 wrong answer, right? So this person actually solved everything in 27 minutes, but you can see that it still says it's 32. The reason it says 32 is because for every wrong answer that you make, it adds 5 minutes. So for example, this person solved everything in 48 minutes. Okay, so actually 51 minutes. They solved everything in 51 minutes, but they got 1 wrong answer, right? So for that, it adds 5 minutes. And similarly, this person got 2 wrong answers, so it adds 10 minutes. So where is it? Okay. Yeah, so the last the problem was solved in like 61 minutes. So plus 10 is, yeah, there you go. So plus 10, you get 71. So that's basically how it works. Okay. But in Codeforces, it's actually a bit different. I'll explain Codeforces briefly. Okay, let me open something. There you go. Now, what happens in Codeforces is actually, again, a bit different. So what happens is that if you got a wrong answer, for example, this person got multiple wrong answers here, right? So each problem has a score associated with it. So initially, like problem A has 500 score, but every minute it decreases. It decreases by 2, right? So for example, this person took 6 minutes to solve the problem A. So what that means is that in 6 minutes, every minute it decreased by 2. The score decreased by 2. So it's 500 minus 2 into 6, which means that he got 488, right? So he got a score of 488. Now, what happens when you get a wrong answer is that your score decreases by 100. Like, sorry, it decreases by 50, not 100. So if you got a wrong answer, then it decreases by 50. Let me take an example. Over here, this person got wrong answer on a problem. And you can see that he solved it in 13 minutes, right? So he solved it in 13 minutes. So what this means is that he got a score of 500 minus 50 minus 13 into 2. So basically minus 76, right? And you can see that that's exactly what he got. He got 424, which is 500 minus 76. So this is how the penalty system works. And each problem has a particular score associated with it. So if you solve a harder problem, that's way more useful than solving a easier problem. So if I solve A and B, that will give me a total score of 1500. But if I just solve D, that will be 2000, right? So yeah, a score is also important here. But in some other types of contests, this is one type of contest. There are multiple types of contests. Again, let me open something else like educational round. So in this contest, there is no score associated with the problem. If you solve one problem, it is counted as one problem. That's it, right? But if you do get a wrong answer, you can see that this is +2, which means that he got 2 wrong answers. That means that this penalty will be more, right? So penalty will be, the penalty will be 10 minutes for every wrong answer. So for example, this person solved it in 1 hour 23 minutes, but the penalty will add 20 more to that. And here 254 is the sum of all these times. So 0 plus 5 plus 16 plus 38. Let me just add those all up and show you. So we have 0 plus 5 plus 16 plus 38 plus 1 hour 2 minutes is 62. Plus after that we have 1 hour 23, which is 83. And they got 2 penalties, right? So since they got 2 penalties, that will be plus 20. Okay, 1 second. Why do they have more? Okay, they also got 3 penalties in the last round, which means that they also need to take plus 30. So you can see that I got 254 and 254 is the penalty, right? And the person with the least penalty is put at the top. So for example, this person has 254, this person has 259. So 259 is higher, right? So he will come later. Like 254 is better. Okay, fine. Is this clear to everyone? Any doubts? What are the divisions in CF? Which one is for beginners? Okay, there are 4 divisions in CF. So there is div 1, 2, 3, and 4. Div 4 is the easiest, div 3 is the second easiest, div 2 is the third easiest, and div 1 is the hardest, right? So if your rating is less than or equal to 1400, you can participate in div 4. If your rating is less than or equal to 1600, you can participate in div 3. No, sorry, less than 1600 and less than 1400. So if your rating is 1600, less than 1600, then you can participate in both div 3 and div 4. For example, let's say my rating is 1100. Then in this case, I can participate in both of these, right? Now for div 2, your rating needs to be below 2100. But basically everyone except div 1 people can participate in div 2, div 3, and div 4, right? So yeah, if your rating is below 2100, you can participate in div 2. And div 1 is for people whose rating is greater than or equal to 1900. Okay. Yeah. So you don't have to worry too much about the divisions. Div 3 and 4 rarely happen. Yes, Samad, that is true. Unfortunately, div 3 and 4 happen very rarely. So you should participate in div 2 if you can. Again, it's not very beginner friendly. So you might not be able to solve a problem, but well, you can try solving the problem later as well. Priyanshu says, what is the frequency of div 4 and div 3 contests? No, there is no fixed schedule, Priyanshu. To keep a check of the upcoming contests, you can just, go visit the contest page from time to time, I guess. Also, you can view the calendar. Like the calendar has the times of all the contests, I guess. Yeah, there you go. So you can see all the contest times here. So you can also do that if you want. So yeah. Arun says, what's the rating of Candidate Master? It's 1900. Okay, cool. Any other doubts? Anything at all? Yeah, please do let me know with like a +1 or -1 in the chat. Like if you have any general doubts as well, you can let me know, like anything general. At what time should we stop doing CP? That's a very good question, Tushar. You can basically stop doing CP after your Candidate Master. Like at that point, it doesn't matter if you become even better, unless you are aiming to like improve in CP in order to get into world finals and stuff like that of ICPC. It doesn't really matter after 1900. So if you are looking for a job or something like that, 1900 is very, very good. Like you will basically ace any competition. Okay. How much rating do you expect us to get after the completion of this course? Priyanshu, we do not guarantee anything. This is highly dependent on your performance. But I would say that 1000 is a very nice goal to aim for. 1000 and 1100 are very nice goals to aim for in Codeforces. What is HFTs? It's a type of company. I'll just Google that. So yeah, high frequency trading firms. So it's just a type of company. Can you crack company OS after becoming perfect in CP? If you're perfect in CP, then you can certainly crack it. So okay, cool. I'll just wait for a minute. If anyone has any doubts, again, any general doubts are also fine. Do let me know. Is contest only way to increase ratings? Yes, contests are the only ways to increase ratings in basically any competitive programming website. How much time it would take to become CM if you are starting? Okay, Akash, I have no idea. It depends a lot on how much effort you're putting in, depends on the circumstances, your aptitude, etc. I will not be giving any estimate. Sorry. Like, I don't want anyone to think that, well, maybe after 2 years, you might see that, okay, wow, I have not become CM. I am bad, right? That's not true at all. For example, I have been doing CP for 5 years and I'm still not a CM. So it's dependent a lot on time. Like some people got master in like 2 years. So it depends a lot on the circumstances. How much rating can you expect after finishing level 1? 1000 to 1100 is a very nice goal to aim for. Avi. Okay, cool. I guess we can move on then. Okay. We have discussed AdCoder, right? Yeah. Okay. So one thing though in AdCoder is that you won't be able to see the problems very easily. Like you won't be able to view all the problems very easily. You won't be able to sort them and stuff. So for that, what you can do is actually go to this website. I have linked this in the PPT. I'll be sharing the PPT. So over here, I'll be able to basically like select the difficulty, let's say 400 to 800. And I'll also be able to, like look at the problems. I'll be able to sort by AC during contest, after contest, like depending on your thing, right? Only rated, stuff like that, right? So yeah, you can go here, you can go to these problems and you can try doing these problems, right? So this is a pretty nice website. What is AC in AdCoder? AC is accepted, like in everything which basically accepted. Okay. Akash says good resources for maths. Honestly, since you're asking, like mathematics approaches are most likely considered for CP. That's not at all true, actually, Akash. Like mathematics is a very small part of CP. But for resources, I don't know, honestly. There are classes this time, like based on number theory, but I don't know of any resources specifically. You can try Googling though. But okay, actually, I can share one resource with you. Okay, there is some, I have shared this in the resources section, by the way. If you go to usaco.guide, this website, you can go to this website and you'll be able to see sections. So in these sections, there's general, bronze, silver, etc. So basically, these are general is for everyone. Bronze is for people, beginners, basically. Silver is for intermediate and so on. So let me just go to the bronze section. And you can see that there are actually some number theory stuff. Okay, 1 second. So for example, this rectangle geometry is based on number theory. Okay, there you go. So there are some number theory stuff like that. Like the issue is that there is no specific math resource for this thing. But if you want permutations and combinations, that should be somewhere over here, I think. Oh, I think it's in gold actually. Yeah, you can see combinatorics is also here, like a lot of different combinatorics things. So this website is pretty good. You should most certainly consider that. Okay. Yeah. Abhi says, since contests are the only way to increase ratings, then how can you increase your rating as beginners? Well, you get better at CP and you solve problems. That's how it works. Like at the beginning, your rating is not expected to increase. Like if you're a complete beginner, then obviously your rating is not expected to increase, right? So you should learn and then you should solve. Like you can't expect it to increase right after you start participating, right? So you need to solve problems first and then you should practice, like you should participate in a contest. Okay, cool. Yeah. So for problem solving, by the way, you can look at these, like I have linked this in the thing, and you can also look at CodeChef practice. This is also very nice. And like in 1.1, actually, some people asked how to install C++ compilers. So to install C++ compilers as well, I have linked the resource. You can take a look at this if you want. So yeah. So this will install basically every single compiler for C++. Okay, Kunal, what do you mean? Sorry, I didn't exactly understand. What does BF mean? Oh, brute force. Okay. So does writing brute force approach or optimal solution affect the rating? So if your code passes, it doesn't matter. But if you write a brute force solution, then, like if you get TLE, then it will be bad, right? So if you get TLE, if you get wrong answer, that would be a penalty. So if you can find an optimal solution, you should use that. But we will be discussing how to evaluate whether a brute force solution will pass or not in the future classes during time complexity. So don't worry about that. Like after that, you'll be able to figure that out. Arun says, what's the difference between float and double? So float has less precision. Like let's say you have 1.299367. So this is basically what a float can store. But a double will be able to store way more, like 983,457 or something like that. Right? It will be able to store way more. Then there's also something called long double, which can store even more, etc. Right? So that's basically the difference. Okay. Any other doubts? Please do let me know it like a +1 or -1 in the chat. Any general doubts are fine, by the way, like any doubts at all. Like you can ask anything. Okay, I'll just wait a few minutes, but this will basically be the end of the session then. So if anyone has any doubts, please do let me know right now. Like I'll be waiting for 5 minutes, and after that, this session will end. So yeah. Also, if everyone is free to leave. If you don't have any doubts, you are free to leave. Okay, Tushar says in the previous slide, there were links mentioned related to DSA sheet and all. What? Sorry? Like, okay, I didn't understand, Tushar. You mean this one? This DSA prep thing? Abhi says, okay, don't worry, Abhi, fast IO and stuff will be explained in next class. So don't worry too much about that. Okay, Arun Kumar is sending a problem link. Okay, we will not be discussing problems, but you know what? Fine. We can look at this. So take the input as a double or float, like I mean, double would be preferred. So, and then you just use if statements to compare, right? Yeah, you use a double to take input or long double, maybe even if you want. So you can take that and then you can check for every interval, like, you can use an if statement, if else if, and you do that 4 times. Like we discussed this in the last class, right? So it's similar to grading, like the grading problem that I mentioned, except that after grading, like for the else statement, you will output out of intervals, right? So that's basically how it works. And also this means that here, they like this symbol, like this parentheses means that it's not included. So this is strictly greater than, like this means that it's including and this means that it's excluding. Yeah, okay. So just make sure that you put that properly into if statements. Okay, Habi says, if I want to practice problems now to become better at CP contests in CF, how should I select my problems? Just do the daily tasks first of all, do the daily tasks. And then you can try doing AdCoder or anything at all. Like just practice random problems, right? Tushar says, how do you approach any particular problem? Like if you start reading in the sequence from start till end. or you also skip some part. Okay, so a lot of times actually there are many stories in a problem. Like you should just ignore those problems. Like, you should ignore ignore the story. I mean, you should ignore the story that comes up. But if you have a problem, then honestly, what I do is try to solve it in a simple manner. Like, is there a simpler problem that I can solve? So out of this bigger problem, is there a smaller problem that I can solve to solve the bigger problem, right? Okay. So Tushar, I don't directly go to the test cases unless the problem is like A or something. So like if I just read the problem A, some like test cases of problem A, sometimes I can figure out the pattern immediately. But generally I don't that's only works for the first few problems, like first problem. In fact, it doesn't work for anything after the first problem. So that's a pretty that's a pretty bad method too, because it has a high likelihood of giving you WA. Right. So you might have missed some particular condition which is not in the sample test cases. So yeah, I'd not recommend doing it, honestly. Someone says, is C2 ladder good? Yes, C2 ladder is pretty good. So but for people who don't know, by the way, C2 ladder is just Google this. You'll get a website, C2 ladder, and just solve problems based on that particular rating. So after you do some problems, you can go to the next section and do problems more and more and more, and etc. Okay. Okay, again, I'll be waiting for like 5 minutes. Everyone is free to leave. So if you don't have any doubts, you're free to leave. But yeah, if you do have any doubts, you can let me know. Okay, fine. That will be the end of today's session. Okay, I guess. Okay, someone else having some people have doubts, so I'll solve them first. I'm solving problems in CF these days, solving daily tasks, also solving in other platforms when bored. Yes, that is pretty good, Ratan. You should solve in other platforms, not just the daily tasks. Okay, our session is over. Can you please tell more about contributions in CF? Okay, so it's pretty useless. Like, okay, sorry. Yeah. So basically, if you write blogs or something like that and people upvote, you get more contribution. For example, I made a project here. I made a project and I uploaded that project and it got some upvotes. And those upvotes translate to some amount of contribution. So yeah. This one, I have no idea. I'm sorry. Like you should ask in TLE. I don't know much about this linking TLE stuff. So please do ask in the server. Like just ping the moderators, by the way. Just do at managers or at moderators and they'll help you out. So Tushar, basically you can put blog posts and stuff. This will help you get like contribution. You can also make comments. So some people make comments, for example, let me just open a random thing. So this person has made some comment. Okay, this person has not made only comments, but still, if you look at, like, if you make comments, you get contribution. Sorry, Samat, what do you mean is not implemented yet? Oh, okay. I don't know. I have no idea about the linking part at all, actually. Like, my job is only to teach. I don't know anything about that stuff. Okay, Tushar says, do you get all upcoming CP? Okay. Actually, Tushar, I just, actually recently, I'm not participating in many contests at all. So first of all, I'd like to mention that. But after that, like I just go through the first three things. And also I have like friends in a Discord server who, if they know some information, they'll let me know. So yeah, it's just random. I don't get it from any particular place. Could you please repeat that comment thing? I missed it. Okay, it's not anything special. Like, I was just saying that if you make comments and the comment gets upwards, then you get contribution. But I'd just like to mention that, you can also get negative contributions. So don't make comments that are stupid. People will downvote you. For example, these people have a negative contribution because, well, they make stuff, they post stuff, and they get downvoted. So, yeah. So don't make stupid comments. So your contribution can also go negative. So just keep that in mind. All the groups I have joined. Okay, these are the groups I have joined. Most like these are okay. What do you mean groups? Like, oh, these groups. Okay. So I used to practice for Olympiads and stuff. So when I was practicing for Olympiads and stuff, these groups were pretty helpful. Like UFDS, this Upsolving, and like IOI archive, they all help. So yeah, it is pretty useful. Okay, my LinkedIn, I will share it in the chat. So this is my LinkedIn. You can take a look. I'll send this in the chat. So should we join them now, those groups? Okay, the groups that I have joined are very particular. They are private, by the way. Like, you won't get access even if you ask. Like, but I don't know any good groups. Like, I don't join groups regularly. Like, I just join things that are useful for me, and they are generally private. So again, I hear it from friends and stuff, and that's how I join them. Okay, fine. I guess that will be the end of today's session. And yeah, if anyone has any doubts, you can also share this. Like, you can also ask me in Discord later. Arun, yes, I will share this PPT. Yes, I will share this PPT. Don't worry about that. But yeah. Okay, fine. Yeah, I guess I will talk to everyone later then. So there will be a class tomorrow, by the way. There will be classes tomorrow. So this is not that class. This is not the replacement. There will be a class tomorrow. Okay, fine. Okay, I'll see everyone next time. Okay, bye.